I guess we're just on a streak now of just reacting to my old predictions in the NBA, and I feel like we're just going to embarrass myself today. I don't know, though. So we're going to be reacting to my top 10 NBA players ranking going into the 2020 season. So it's kind of crazy. Like, I was in a different apartment then. I was a junior in college. Now I'm in a different apartment and a senior in college, and we're still in the same season. This is still the same season that is going on. So we're going to see if any of these players got worse, they got better. Maybe they shouldn't have been in my top 10. Maybe I had some players that now should be my top 10 that I didn't even mention in this video. I will leave a link to this video in the description below if you want to go check it out. And yeah, let's get into this. We'll stop at, I guess, each ranking. I hope I have some honorable mentions. I'm not sure, though. This was posted on, let's see, September 21st, 2019. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. How is everybody doing today? And I'm here today with a top 10 video. And I'm going to be ranking my top 10 players in the NBA going into the 2019-2020 season. So yeah, I'm going to be giving you guys my personal opinion on the 10 guys that I think are the best players in the NBA. We'll rank them from 10 to 1 going into this next year's season. I won't have KD or I won't have Clay on this list for obvious reasons. So this is just my personal list and my subjective list. So let me know your guys' opinion on who your top 10 players are going into next year's season. If you disagree with any of mine, if not, just say you like my list. So let's get into this. So figuring out who number 10 was actually pretty hard. I was trying to debate between these two point guards. Obviously, you guys can probably guess who they are. I decided to leave Kyrie Irving as kind of like a 10B option. I'll mention him here that I think he's very close with my number 10 player, but he will not be coming in at number 10 on this list. It's a subjective pick. You guys could pick Kyrie to put him here. So I'm going to have Damian Lillard at my number 10 spot.
So I have Lillard at 10. I would say Lillard. Well, I mean, okay, because obviously, like right now, you'd probably have your LeBron, your KD, Curry, Giannis, Kawhi, AD, Harden. And then either, I would say Lillard's 8 or Lillard's 9. It depends where you would have Luka. I think it's Lillard and Luka right there. But it's also Embiid or Jokic, I think, could also be at that 8th spot or at that 7th spot. So I guess it's really up to you who you prefer, but I'll kind of give my opinion on that later. But let's just see.
Damian Lillard.
I'm fine with Damian Lillard going into the season. I think that was a respectable ranking.
Solidified this spot with his first round playoff series against the Oklahoma City Thunder and also his second round playoff series against the Denver Nuggets last year, as he did knock off the Thunder in 5 games. We all know how he ended the Thunder season, and then they did beat the Denver Nuggets in 7 games. And I think that just put Damian Lillard over the edge of Kyrie Irving. He went to the Western Conference Finals, and he did it on insane efficiency. Now, Damian Lillard last year averaged north of 25 points per game, over 6.5 assists, over 4.5 rebounds. He shot 37% from 3 while also maintaining a 58% true shooting percentage. He had a VORP of 5.4, which actually placed him 7th in the NBA. He ranked 3rd in the NBA at offensive box plus minus, while also top 20 in assist percentage and PER. Now, I think Damian Lillard deserves to be on this top 10 list. I think for most people, based on his playoff performance and what he did for Portland this year, bringing them to the Western Conference Finals. Obviously, they did lose to Golden State, but they didn't go down without a fight. I think Damian Lillard comes in at number 10 on this list, and I could see him rising throughout the year. Coming in at number 9 on this list is a new member of the Los Angeles Clippers, and that is Paul George.
For the first half of the NBA, Paul George probably. Well, actually, I'll say what I have to say about Paul George after I talk
season
about
last year. Most people thought Paul George was the MVP. Obviously, he struggled a little bit post All-Star break as the Thunder fell down the standings, and we know what happened in the playoffs for them. But you can't ignore what PG did in the 2018-19 season, averaging 28 points a game, over 8 rebounds, led the league in steals with 2.2 a night, and also ranked top 10 in VORP. He was actually number 9 with a 5.3 VORP that ranked higher than guys like LeBron James, like Steph Curry, like Kevin Durant. So Paul George's season was very, very good last year. Playing with Kawhi Leonard this season can definitely take the defense off of Paul George and let him be more creative on the floor, and I think that's going to help Paul this year. And I think Paul George is definitely a top 10 player in the NBA. If you didn't think he was already last year, he definitely is this year. So I had a very hard debate.
So I think I could back that up. Now, I wouldn't probably put Paul George in my top 10 going into 2021 because you'd have the guys I mentioned before. You have your LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi. Giannis is probably going to be 3 now that he's knocked out. Then you'll have like Curry, KD, AD, and Harden. So you'll have those 7 guys, right? And then I think you would have Luka, Dame above them, so that's 8 and 9. And then you would also have probably Jokic and Embiid over Paul George. So I think Paul George wouldn't crack the top 10
in a top 10 players list. So yeah, he has definitely fallen out of the top 10. But he was incredible in 2019. He was third in MVP voting, and it sucks that I don't know. Well, I mean, he could still have a great playoff run and still be in the top 10. It's not like he's eliminated now, but he had a rough round one against Dallas. He's playing a little bit better so far against Denver. But we still have to wait and see. I guess Paul George can still salvage his top 10 spot if he has a really good rest of the playoffs.
Between 7 and 8, both are the same position. Instead of doing like a 7A, 7B, I just did 7 and 8. And with 8, I do have Joel Embiid of the Philadelphia 76ers.
So I'm guessing I went Embiid over Jokic, which I don't know who you'd rather have now. I feel like it depends on the person because they've just been compared neck and neck with each other like the last 2 years. Who's the best center in the NBA if you count 80 as a 4?
He might be the most dominant player in the NBA. He might be the closest thing we've had since Shaq in terms of dominance when he's on the floor. Averaging 27 points, 13 rebounds, and shooting 30% from 3 as a 7-foot center while having guard-like handles is just insane. I could read Embiid's stats because every single statistic is mind-blowing for him. But when you're watching him play for the Sixers, he's the rim protector, he's the defensive anchor while also being such a talented force on offense. And he's going to come in at number 8 for me on my top 10 list going into next year's season. Coming in at number 7 on my list is the other center, and that is Nikola Jokic. Nikola Jokic's age 23 season might be one of the more unique seasons from a center we've ever seen in the NBA. 20 points a game, 11 rebounds, 7.5 assists for a 7-foot center is just outright insane. Nikola Jokic's box plus minus was 9.5, ranked 3rd in the NBA. You know who's ahead of him? The 2 MVP candidates in James Harden and Giannis were the only guys with a higher BPM than him last year. Same goes with Vorp as he ranked 7. Same goes with Vorp as he was 3rd in the NBA with a 7.3 Vorp, and James Harden and Giannis were the only guys above him. Nikola Jokic brought the Nuggets 1 game away from making it to the Western Conference Finals, and I do think that the Nuggets could end the season as a 1 seed this year.
Yeah, that was my prediction if you remember my reaction to that video, and they ended up as what, the 5 seed? No, 4 seed? 4 seed? I think it was the 4 seed. No, 3 seed. They ended up as the 3 seed, and they're currently down, at the moment I'm recording this, 2-1 to the Clippers.
Plays up to their potential, and obviously that's going to start with Nikola Jokic as being arguably the best passing big man in the NBA in this day and age, and I do believe that his defense is a little bit underrated. I don't think it's Joel Embiid level defense, but I don't think he's as bad as people say he is on defense. I think he's a very smart defender when it comes to screen switches, boxing out, and where he should be on the floor. He's a great ball handler for a 7-foot center, and he's going to come in at number 7 on this list. So coming in at number 6 is going to be Anthony Davis. Now, I do think Anthony Davis is probably better than
I feel like, okay, Anthony Davis after this year is probably rising up. It depends where you have KD and Curry are going to be different on everybody's board because we really didn't get to see, well, Curry we didn't get to see much of, but KD we didn't get to see at all this season. So I think due to those injuries, I would have KD and Curry maybe at 6 and 7, or maybe Curry a little bit higher than KD, but I would feel comfortable putting KD at 7 just because we don't know what he's going to be like coming back from the injury. Like, you could have, well, like, I would say the best player in the NBA right now is going to be whoever wins or goes to the NBA championship out of Kawhi and LeBron. If there is an LA semifinals, now it could be a Nugget Rocket, but I highly doubt it. Now, if it is an LA conference finals is what I meant, I think whoever wins that series is going to be the best player in the NBA. If it's LeBron, if the Lakers win, it's going to be LeBron. Clippers win, it's going to be Kawhi. I think Giannis losing in round 2 is going to make him the 3rd best player in the NBA. Now, I could see a way where the Clippers win in 5, Kawhi could be 1, then you could maybe have a case for Giannis at 2 and LeBron at 3. So I think that is the top 3. It doesn't have to be in that order. You can really make up your order. Now, coming in at 4, I would be okay with Anthony Davis. I think it would be either AD or Curry, in my opinion. So I think Curry and AD would be 4 and 5. And then I would probably have Harden 6, KD 7, just because we don't know about the KD injury. Then you could have Luka 8, Dame 9, Embiid/Jokic 10. Yeah, something like that, or Paul George 10. Probably not Paul George. Maybe you have Jimmy Butler now that the playoffs they are pulling off.
He played 56 games last year. We all know what happened with him. And I think he's still the most dominant big man in the league as up there with Joel Embiid. He ranked 13 in win shares, and he only played 56 games for the Pelicans last year. Anthony Davis is also an incredible defender and an incredible offensive talent, so he's an amazing two-way big man. He averaged 26 points a night last year, 12 rebounds, over a steal and a half and a block a half a game. He hit 33% of his threes while logging in 33 minutes a night for a 6'10 unibrow freak, and I mean freak in a good way. Anthony Davis comes in at number 6 on my list, and I think he'll be higher when the season ends. Coming in at number 5.
Was I right? I would say he's 5 or 4. I would say so. And if you're not even counting Curry, then I was probably definitely right there. So coming in at number, what is this now, 5? I don't know who else.
The reigning MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Giannis at 5. Wow. Okay, that was kind of low.
Putting the reigning MVP at 5 might be disrespectful, I know, but that just shows how good the NBA is. And putting him at 5 is no disrespect whatsoever. Being number 5 in this day and age is an incredible achievement. Giannis' MVP season, I don't even need to talk about how good it was. You guys know, 27 points a game, over 12 rebounds a night, while being such a good defensive anchor for that Milwaukee Bucks team as well. He ranks second in VORP, BPM, win shares, while having 64% true shooting percentage. His season was just insane. If you look at the advanced numbers, it just shows you how good of a season he really did have. And if you're just watching him play defense every night, you might think, okay, this guy's a top 3 defender in the league, but he's also arguably a top 10 offensive talent in the league. So yeah, Giannis is coming at number 5, and I think he can win MVP again next year. So you know how I just said,
hey, okay, even though Embiid was my pick, I did say he could win MVP again. All right, I'll take it.
Be honest. Yeah, they love this guy even more. Coming in at number 4 on this list is going to be James Harden.
Now, I had Harden in the head.
That, since 1987, 88 when MJ did this, James Harden is the only player to average 35 plus points per game in a single season, while also maintaining that on 60 plus true shooting percentage. If you rewatch Harden's offensive season last year, it might be arguably the greatest offensive season we've ever seen from a player. 36.1 points per game. That alone is insane. 7.5 assists, 6.5 rebounds, 37% from 3, on a true shooting percentage of 61%. His VORP, 9.9, highest in the NBA. His box plus minus, 11.7, highest in the NBA. His win share is 15.2, also highest in the NBA. The advanced numbers loved Harden's season last year. The eye test obviously loved Harden last year. And if he, obviously, the reason he didn't win MVP is because basketball's a two-sided thing. James Harden is a good defender, but he's not an elite defender like Giannis was on both sides of the ball. But I still think James Harden is a top 4 player in the NBA, and I'm going to have him at number 4 on this list. So technically, I do have 2 players at 2. We are going to do a 2A and 2B because I couldn't pick between these 2 guys. So we're going to start with 2B, and that is going to be Steph Curry. What do I have to say about Steph Curry? The greatest shooter of all time, one of the best point guards of all time, 3-time NBA champion, and literally shoots at an insane pace every single season. The offense runs around Steph. He does so much of that offense. In regards to the defense, game planning so much for him, which helps out guys like Clay and helped out guys like KD last year, and it will help out guys like D'Angelo Russell this year. I think Steph is going to prove a lot of people why he is a top 3 player in the NBA, and arguably can solidify.
And then he got hurt in Game 3 of this season
by himself as one of the NBA greats at the end of this year. I think the Warriors will do very well in regards to Steph Curry having an insane season. He's going to come in at 2B on this list. So coming in at 2A is going to be Kawhi Leonard. Now, Kawhi Leonard solidified himself as one of the best players in the NBA with that postseason run. He obtained his 2nd NBA championship. He only played 60 games last year, which was only 4 more than Anthony Davis. You watch this guy play, he's arguably the best perimeter defender in the NBA. The dude just knows how to win. He has never had a losing season in his NBA career. Yes, that is a main reason with playing with Pop over in San Antonio, but you still can't deny how good this guy is. Personally, in my opinion, he's the best 2-way player in the NBA, and I'm going to have him coming at 2A on this list. And obviously, coming in at number 1 going into the 2019-2020 season, I have LeBron James. Now, you guys know me. I'm not a LeBron stan. I don't love LeBron, and I personally thought when KD was healthy, he was the best player in the NBA, not LeBron. But with KD being hurt next year, I think the crown should go back to LeBron. In his age 34 season, he put up north of 27 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. What other 34-year-old do you know that could do stuff like this? Personally, I don't think LeBron will be number 1 on this list by the end of this year. He might not even be number 1 on this list come December. But I think going into the season, you got to give the respect to LeBron and have him in at your number 1 spot. So yeah, that is going to be...
Okay, so that is going to wrap it up, but there is definitely a good chance LeBron could be number 1. If he wins it all, or excuse me, if the Lakers win it all this year, LeBron's going to be universally known as the number 1 player in the NBA. But yeah, that was my list. If we want to track that, I think I had Kyrie at 11, Dame at 10, Paul George at 9, Embiid at 8, Jokic at 7, AD at 6, Giannis at 5, Harden at 4, Curry at 3, Kawhi at 2, and LeBron at 1. If I had to give my like top 10 right now at this current moment, not knowing what happens in the Western Conference semis or anything like that, or the Western Conference Finals mainly, I would probably have 1 Kawhi Leonard just because he's the reigning Finals MVP. But if the Lakers win it all, probably go that with LeBron. So I would probably have Kawhi 1, LeBron 2, Giannis 3. Just, I mean, maybe you would have Giannis 2 because he's going to be a double or 2-time reigning MVP back-to-back. I don't know. It's hard between LeBron and Giannis, so it's whatever for those guys. 4, I would probably give it to Curry. 5, Anthony Davis. 6, I would give it to James Harden. 7, I would give it to KD just because we don't know much about what he's going to look like coming back. 8, I would give it to Luka. 9, I would give it to Lillard. 10, I would give it to maybe Jokic, and then go 11 Embiid, 12 George. I don't know, maybe Butler in there as well. But yeah, it's hard to figure out who the top 10 players in the league. I'll obviously make a list once the season is over. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy. Drop a like if you guys do enjoy these videos. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.